You're born a slave. Not metaphorically. Literally. You don't have a choice. You don't have rights. You don't even have clothes. You're given a filthy pillowcase to wear. That's it. That's your uniform for life. Your parents were slaves. Your grandparents were slaves. Your entire bloodline has been enslaved for centuries, passed down from wizard family to wizard family like furniture. And the worst part? You're magically programmed to want it. You're maybe 3 years old when you first feel the compulsion. Your master, a wealthy pure-blood wizard, gives you an order. Clean the fireplace. You don't want to. You're tired. You're hungry. You're just a child. But something inside you screams to obey. It's not a choice. It's a magical binding woven into your very DNA. Your body moves before your mind can resist. Your hands start scrubbing, even as you cry. If you try to resist, the pain starts. A splitting headache. Your stomach twists. Your chest feels like it's being crushed. It gets worse and worse until you obey. So you obey. You always obey. You're 5 when you learn about punishment. You accidentally break a plate while washing dishes. It slips from your tiny fingers and shatters on the stone floor. Your master hears the crash. He storms into the kitchen, face red with anger. "You clumsy, worthless creature," he shouts. You're trembling, apologizing, begging forgiveness. But the binding magic has already started. Your body turns against you. Your hands ball into fists, and you start punching yourself in the head. Hard, over and over. You can't stop. Bad elf. Bad, bad, bad. You scream as you hit yourself. Your master just watches. He doesn't stop you. Why would he? This is what house elves do. You beat yourself until your face is bruised, until your eyes are swollen, until you collapse on the floor sobbing. Then you get up and finish cleaning, because the work is never done. You're 7 when you first hear about freedom. Another house elf whispers about it in the laundry room. She says some wizards give their elves clothes, and when that happens, the elf is freed. Your heart jumps. Freedom. The word sounds like magic itself. What happens then, you ask? She looks at you with hollow eyes. The elf dies usually, or goes mad. We need to serve. Without a master, we're nothing. You don't understand. But we'd be free. Free to do what? She asks bitterly. Free to starve. Free to wander the streets. We can't even touch money. We can't own property. We're not people. We're elves. She goes back to scrubbing. You never speak of freedom again. You're 10 when you witness a house elf get freed by accident. The master's son carelessly tosses a sock at the elf while yelling at him to get out of his sight. The elf catches it. For a moment, there's joy in his eyes. Pure, radiant joy. Then the master realizes what happened. He's furious, not at his son, but at the elf. You tricked him, you manipulative little wretch. The elf is thrown out of the house. No ceremony, no severance, just kicked to the curb. You watch from the window as the elf stumbles down the street, clutching the sock like it's treasure. 3 days later, you hear he died. Starved to death in an alley. Too ashamed to beg. Too broken to work. Freedom killed him. Your daily life is endless labor. You wake before dawn. You light the fires. You prepare breakfast. You clean every room in the massive manor house, scrubbing floors on your hands and knees, polishing silver until your fingers bleed, washing mountains of laundry in scalding water. You're not allowed to use magic to make it easier. That would be lazy. Your master wants to see you, suffer. Wants to see you on your knees. It proves you're beneath him. You work 18-hour days. Sometimes more. You eat scraps. Moldy bread. Spoiled vegetables. Food the family wouldn't feed to their owl. You sleep in a cupboard. On the floor. In the cold. No bed. No blanket. No comfort. Because house elves don't deserve comfort. You're punished for everything. If the master stubs his toe, you're blamed for not anticipating it. You iron your hands as punishment. If dinner is too cold, you beat your head against the wall until it bleeds. If you speak without being spoken to, you shut your fingers in a drawer. The punishments aren't ordered by your master. You do them to yourself. Because the magic compels you. Because you've been conditioned, since birth, to believe you deserve it. One time, you think an unkind thought about your master. Just a fleeting thought. He's cruel. Immediately, the guilt crashes over you like a tidal wave. You grab the nearest heavy object, a cast iron pan, and smash it into your own skull. Once, twice, 3 times. Blood pours down your face. You're crying, apologizing to no one. Bad elf. Wicked elf. How dare you think such things? Your master isn't even in the room. He didn't order this. You did it to yourself. You're 15 when you meet Dobby. He's a house elf who serves the Malfoy family. He's covered in bruises, burn marks, and scars. He tells you about Harry Potter, about a wizard who treats him with kindness. He called me Dobby, he whispers, eyes wide with wonder. Not elf, not creature, Dobby. You've never been called by your name either. You don't even remember if you have one. Dobby says he's going to try to warn Harry Potter about danger at Hogwarts, even though it means disobeying his masters. You're terrified for him. They'll kill you. Dobby knows, he says quietly. But Harry Potter must be protected. Later, you hear what happened. Dobby punished himself brutally, ironing his hands, slamming his head in an oven door, hitting himself with a lamp, all because he disobeyed. But he did it anyway. You don't know if that makes him brave or insane. Maybe both. You watch wizard children grow up in the house you serve. They're born into wealth, privilege, and magic. They have toys, books, warm beds, and full meals. You were born in a cupboard. The children are taught spells, taken to Diagon Alley, sent to Hogwarts. You're taught to scrub floors and keep your head down. The youngest child, a girl of 6, asks you one day, "Why don't you have clothes?" You don't know how to answer. House elves don't wear clothes, miss. Why not? Because we're house elves. She frowns. That doesn't make sense. You want to tell her she's right. None of this makes sense. That you're a living being who deserves dignity. But you can't. The words won't come. Instead, you say, "Would Miss like more tea?" She nods and runs off to play. You go back to scrubbing. You're 20 when your master dies. For one brief, horrible moment, you think you might be free. Then his son inherits the estate, and you're inherited along with it. Your property. You're passed down in a will alongside the silverware and the antique furniture. Your new master is worse than the old one. He orders you to punish yourself for entertainment. Makes you iron your ears while his friends laugh. Makes you beat yourself with a poker while they place bets on how long you'll last. You do it. Every time. Because you have no choice. One day, you overhear a conversation. 2 wizards discussing house elf labor laws. Except there are no labor laws. Not for house elves. You're not protected by any legislation. You can't report abuse. You can't quit. You can't even speak up without punishing yourself for disrespect. If your master wants to torture you, he can. If he wants to starve you, he can. If he wants to kill you, he can. And no one will stop him. But you're not a person. You're property. You hear about Hermione Granger, a muggle-born witch who's trying to free house elves. She's leaving out clothes, trying to trick elves into freedom. The other house elves are furious with her. She doesn't understand. They hiss. We don't want freedom. We want to serve. But you wonder, is that really what you want? Or is that what the magic makes you want? You can't tell anymore. The binding is so deep, so ingrained, you don't know where the magic ends and you begin. Maybe you've wanted freedom your whole life. Or maybe the idea of freedom was planted by the magic to make you punish yourself for thinking it. You don't know. You'll never know. You're 35 when Dobby dies. He was freed. He worked for wages at Hogwarts. He wore mismatched socks and was happy. Then he died saving Harry Potter. The wizards bury him and put up a headstone. Here lies Dobby, a free elf. You hear about the funeral. How Harry Potter dug the grave by hand. How he wept. And you think, Dobby got what he wanted. He died free. You'll never have that. You'll die in a cupboard, wearing a pillowcase, serving a master who doesn't even know your name. You're a house elf. You were born into slavery, magically bound to obey, conditioned to punish yourself. You can't own anything. You can't leave. You can't even want freedom without hurting yourself. You work until your body breaks. You're beaten, starved, humiliated. And it's all illegal. The wizarding world, the same world that defeated Voldemort, that prides itself on justice and freedom, sees nothing wrong with your enslavement. You're not a person to them. You're a tool, a servant, a thing. And you'll stay that way until the day you die. Dobby was the exception. You're the rule, and your suffering will never end.